Hey guys, how's it going? Coach Tyson from Ox Strength, and then we're trying to bring something new to the channel. Like basically, we'll bring in a few topics that we want to talk about, which is relevant in the fitness industry currently that is happening, or maybe I talk to some of my clients and then some of the cues I feel like would serve a broader audience, or maybe it's just news about myself or Ojas or any one of our athletes that are doing some crazy things at the gym, and then we have some crazy plans. So basically, we'll sit down here maybe once a month or something, and then talk about two, three, four interesting things that would make it to the video, and then hopefully it helps you guys out, and then and it's interesting for you guys. So yeah, without any delays, let's talk about the things that we're gonna talk about today. And this, I plan to make it a series. Sometimes Ojas can sit down and talk about it, sometimes Neha, sometimes some of our other clients, but then we want to name the series, but we don't have a name yet. So if you guys have any name that you could fit for the series, then would be helpful. Otherwise, I mean, we'll figure out something. But then yeah, the topics today. First thing, my competition is approaching really fast. We'll talk about that, and then I'm in a peaking phase of training, so we'll talk about some of the realizations that I've made as an athlete over these years of training and competing, some of the basic mistakes and misunderstanding of peak week, and then which will probably help you guys out as well. And then finally, over relying on training equipment, or getting super duper confused what equipment to wear, what not to wear, and then will this help versus the other, and then we keep trying out too many things and then not be able to find the answers. And most of these topics are from my experiences as a coach. So yeah, let's get started. So first things first, my competition. We're 3 weeks out, guys. Literally, like Suruma, when I thought about this competition, it was supposed to be like 35, 36 weeks out, and we had a big training structure planned, how we're gonna execute to this competition, that we have certain things that we'll do, and then which will lead on for me to make this amazing progress. But then as time passes by, it just feels like it's just around the corner, and literally 3 weeks out, and I feel like training has been pretty good. I'm not sharing all of my training so much because just keeping it a bit low key, but then training has been exceptionally good the past few weeks, and then we're on pace to hit a very good squat and bench press. But then in terms of the deadlift, it's just a bit I don't know. So the last block will dictate, and hopefully we make a video out for you guys maybe 1 or 2 weeks out when the training is quite interesting. So the competition that I'm doing is gonna be the USAPL Hong Kong National Championship. So it's basically like a national championship of a country, but then we had to qualify through smaller competitions, which I've done December 2022, which was my last meet. So this time I'm competing in the 110 kg category, and then things are looking good. Yeah, I think that's all the detail that I would share. It's going to be on the 27th of August. Hopefully we can have a live stream for you guys to watch that out as well. So pretty excited for that. And then with this topic, I just want to lead on to another topic, which is going to be peaking mistakes that most people make. So I've been pretty vocal on social media, like she ran early on the race and then slowed down towards the end, and that is so true, because as athletes we want to have that instant gratification of doing everything at the gym. So if I do it at the gym, then at the comp, like this and this, like just a conceived notion like I can do it, sort of a feel. You get that encouragement from yourself, but then sometimes it's always not the case, because like I said, when we have a structured training program, some of the lifts have proven itself time and time again that it's gonna show up for itself. So let's say, just to give an example of my squat. So yesterday I literally did 3 weeks out squat, and it was only 250 kgs for a single. Now that's not a lot. Obviously, even if I build up, it's gonna be 260 and then 270 if we make logical jumps, or if we just go too aggressive, 265 and then maybe 275 or something like that. But that's definitely nowhere near what I'm gonna hit on comp day. And then based on popular notion, I should have done 285 at the gym, so that at least I can do 290 or 95 on meet day. But then the training structure does not have to necessarily lay out that way. In my case of the squat, I tend to run pretty flat after I hit like a heavy single, maybe 8 RPE plus 8 to 9 RPE. I run pretty flat for a few days, and then I have to build up slowly again. So in the case that I do 285 at the gym, my competition is going to run pretty flat. So I have to build up the momentum and confidence into the meet. So I think this is one problem that most athletes do, especially in their stronger lift, because my squat has proven itself time and time again. So we've done like 6 blocks leading into this, and every single block on the third and the fourth week I have done exceptionally well, and then on the fifth week that I've slowed down because we've done so well in the past. So just trusting this process allows me to hit a massive PR on the platform itself. So that's the first thing that I want to do. So we have to look at your trends, how your squat is going to perform, or how your bench is going to perform, or how your deadlift is going to perform based on all of the training ideas that you have. So we don't want to fall for short-term gratification, but then trust the plan that we have. And then another mistake whenever we're doing a peak is that we try to do too many different things in case of training. So we're basically making a good amount of progress when we're doing X and Y amount of volume, but then when it comes to the peaking weight, we reduce all of the volume and then we just go for heavy weight. But then when we start to do this, then training predictability goes down, because we have no idea how the body is going to function for meet day. So we have to rely on our data that we have collected from the last meet and then the meet before that, and all of the training leading into, so we don't make so many abrupt changes to our training in the last few weeks of meet prep. So yeah, these are small little things that we don't necessarily have to make too many different changes to the peak week, and we just flow into the competition naturally, like how we were able to perform on our week 4, or maybe after a drastic deload on week 1 for some of the athletes. But we basically have to understand that how our body peaks, and then we basically replicate it and not try to do anything drastic or different when it comes to your midday performance. This will definitely go a long way. So I won't talk about all of the mistakes that people make during a peak week, but there's a video on my older channel, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, that I made, which also covers like the common mistakes that people make. So I think you can go check out that video if you want to learn more. But then in general, stick to the trend that we've been following. So for me, in my squat, I'm sticking to my trends as we build up. And then obviously bench and deadlift is going to be a bit different, but then that is for you and your coach to figure out. And finally, I think the most hottest conversations that I have the last few weeks, months, I would say, with the launch of the stiffer knee sleeves, with the launch of multiple training shoes and all of these things. And I am the person that buys all of it, because obviously I have a roster of clients and I want to be able to recommend it to everybody, like what is good for you, what is not good for you, or maybe this will help you more, or this wouldn't help you more, so that I buy it so that you don't have to. But then also because I like to buy it and all of these things. But then the problem is not in the buying, but the problem is in believing that it's actually gonna make a huge difference in your training performance. Of course, these things definitely make a small difference. Obviously, if you're deadlifting in running shoes or Converse or all of these things, then I would recommend that you switch down to a more minimalist style shoe. But then like 2 different shoes, let's say the Vankus and the Notorious, is not going to make a huge difference to how you're going to perform in your deadlift or your squat and all of these things. And I see athletes, all of my athletes and athletes all over the country, that they're really stuck up on these equipments, and I don't think it really adds any value by just trying to confuse yourself and then try out different things every single time then something comes out. So what my recommendation is for you is, if it is working, try not to switch it unless it runs out or it gets really old. But then, because most of you are not able to adjust to even small little changes, it is recommended from me as a coach to you that if you just stick to one equipment, that you master how you use it over time. So if you have a really good shoe with lots of lateral support, initially you don't even know how to use the lateral support of a shoe that you have, or how do you utilize all of the grip that your shoe has to provide. So you want to be able to build your technique around the equipment that you already have. So the next better equipment may not be as good as the one you already have. So that's something that I really wanted to talk about, because we are definitely getting caught up in all of these things, like is this knee sleeve better than this, and then with this knee sleeve I was able to do X, Y and Z. So the insert versus the SBD, or any of the stiffer knee sleeve versus the SBD knee sleeve. It's not the knee sleeve that's actually working for you that you're actually to be a better squatter, but in fact the accumulation of the training that we've done leading into this very day, and then how you are able to use your equipment. So maybe like the stiffer knee sleeve felt better for you, but then we cannot actually give all your credit to the knee sleeve. Because of that you are getting better, or because I didn't have this, so that's why. So because you have the insert you can squat more than me. It does not work like that. So we have, like, all of these equipments are legal for a reason, because they fall within a constraint of equipment regulations set by any particular federation. So it's not going to help you so much. So I would recommend that you don't get stuck up on these things, but actually focus on really creating the training predictability, really focusing on understanding your time to peak, what rep ranges work for you, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. And all of these things are really secondary, because I see guys buy every single new shoe, but they are not even following a training program, or they're buying the most expensive shoe, but then their technique, their center of mass management is non-existent. So there are bigger things that you need to focus on in order for you to be a better lifter. So yeah, I think those are the three things that were in my mind that I wanted to talk about, and hopefully it gives you guys a little bit of a perspective as to how I think of training as an holistic approach. So yeah, if you have any other questions that you want to ask, or you want me to talk about in another series of this type of video, then we will talk about it in the next one. But until next time, if you want any coaching from myself or anyone from our team, links are in the description down below, and I will see you in the next one. Be strong.